Hey, Sped Noodles. Hey, Sped Noodles. Have you heard something that goes like this? No. Matter of fact, hey, Sped Noodles. Hey, Kira, the Dark Angel, Kira, the chill vibe Kira on Discord. Have you ever heard something that goes like this? First they came for the YouTubers, but I'm not a YouTuber, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for Dolly, but my name's not Dolly, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for Slick, but my name's not Slick, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to help me. Just earlier, we saw someone that goes by the name of Guest enter into Gia's live stream. I called her out. I said, Kira, you legitimately supported pedophilia? And yet here you are out here causing drama in the Big 26, by the way. Grown-ass women, by the way. Grown-ass women, by the way. So, again, Kira, you say you're a Christian, right? You say your mom is a Christian, right? What does Mark chapter 9 verse 42 says? Ever thought of that? You ever thought about how, you claim to be a Christian, but yet you don't know what Mark chapter 9 verse 42 says? You're talking about I know Jesus, I've been baptized. If you would have been bowing in front of Jesus Christ right now. You would have been gone away from the internet. You would have been bowing in front of Jesus Christ right now. You would have been praying for Alex Preddy. You would have been praying for Renee Good. You would have been praying for Brianna Johnson. You would have been doing what an actual Christian who is an actual person of faith would have been doing. You, Sped Noodles, would do the exact same thing, but you didn't care. Oh, Alex Preddy died? Oh, that doesn't affect me. I'm doing exposing videos. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. That's not my problem. It doesn't affect me. 3 kids were killed at a hockey game. You, doesn't affect me. That's where we are as a country. Because 77 million people would rather stick in their white privilege and not say a damn thing. When a hockey game happened in Rhode Island, kids were murdered, as well as the mother of the children, because a trans father killed both the mom and the child. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Sped Noodles, you make all these exposing videos about Gia the Dark Angel, right? How you saying she groomed you, right? What about the videos of Renee Good? What about the videos of you outside protesting? What about the videos of you, actually giving a damn? But you don't care. You're a schadenfreude. And let me give you a definition of a schadenfreude. It's a German word that means someone who delights hurting other people even when they are falsely accused. You and Kira are no better than what white people have done since 1619. So you can cut the act and talk about how, I was grilled. You didn't say anything when Alex Preddy was shot. You didn't say anything when Renee Good was shot. You didn't say anything when Brianna Johnson was shot. So how could you right now make expose videos talking about other people when you could be talking about what happened with Alex Preddy and Renee Good and all the others? Because you rather have content than actually go up to ICE and beat the shit out of ICE. You're not a person of faith. You're a modern day Pharisee. And that's what's wrong with this country. You, Kira, and 75 million people went to the crossroads. I'm not calling it the fucking voting booth. You saw 2 signs. One that said for Kamala Harris and the other that said for, bankruptcies, rape, child molestation, insurrectionist, and you chose that instead of actually thriving under a black woman. Oh, and I can tell you supported Charlie Kirk too, because mind you, dead Americans are worth the cost of the Second Amendment. That's what Charlie Kirk said in his video, by the way. Mind you, grown women starting drama, by the way, mind you, in the big 2026 out here starting drama, grown as women, by the way. Yet you didn't care when Alex Freddie got shot. Yet you didn't care when Renee Good got shot. You saw that when Donald Trump raped Jean Carroll, you said, yes, that's my president. I can tell a person just by who they voted for, not by their actions, not by their faith, by who they voted for. Kira, you say you're a Christian, right? What does Mark chapter 9 verse 42 say? Mind you, that talks about pedophilia. Let me give you the context version. For whosoever rapes my children, it would be better for him if a great guillotine were hung around his neck and his blood was casted into the sea. That's the context version. So which is it? Are you going to actually give a damn about the Epstein survivors? About what happened in 1619? About the Black Death? About the Boston Tea Party? About World War I? About World War II? Or are you going to sit there in your silence and not say a damn thing? Matter of fact, let me revise a little quote and have your names written on it. First they came for Sped Noodles, but my name isn't Sped Noodles, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for Kira, but my name wasn't Kira, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for Gia the Dark Angel, but my name wasn't Gia the Dark Angel, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for Dolly, but my name wasn't Dolly, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for Slick, but my name wasn't Slick, so I didn't say anything. And then there was no one left to help me, because my name is Joshua. A reminder of Jesus' salvation. That's why we're here. And if you don't like it, you can ship your ass right back to England where you belong. Because America has never been great for anybody. Go ask a random Muslim. Go ask a random Muslim. Go ask a random Arabian. Go ask a random black person. Has this country been great for anybody? Martin Luther King said, "We will not remember the voices of our allies, but rather listen to the voices of our enemies." Because why? Because we choose to be retards and vote for because y'all chose to be retards and vote for the adjudicated rapist instead of an actual qualifying black president. Mind you, the only qualifying president that we ever had was Barack Obama. And to be fair, I voted for Barack Obama. Sure, I didn't like what his policies were, but at least he was a decent man. At least he was decent. And I can tell you're not going to watch my streams because I can tell you're gonna be shut down, just like I did last stream. I shut you down permanently because it's the truth. The truth doesn't care about your feelings, yet it sets you free. Kira, stop posing yourself as guest. We know it's you. Stop hiding in the closet like a little girl and actually be an adult woman. By the way, 2026, you're out here causing drama, by the way. So why we're here, people. First, they came for the YouTubers, but I wasn't a YouTuber, so I didn't say anything. You're a YouTuber, right, Speds? Why didn't you say anything about Alex Preddy? Why didn't you say anything about Renee Good? Why didn't you say anything about Brianna Johnson? Why didn't you say anything when Katie Johnson, a 14-year-old, was getting raped by Donald J. Trump? Because you were silent and you were complicit in your silence. That's what this is. It's not about white supremacy. It's not about the price of eggs or the price of gas. White supremacy. And you voted for that. So you went to attack Dolly and Lulu because you saw them as the content and yourself as the platform. You saw yourself as ICE and you saw them as people from different countries. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. For whosoever lives among you must be treated as if they were one of your native born. Love thy neighbor as thyself, for you yourselves were born from Egypt. You say you're a Christian, right, Kira? You say you know the Bible. You say you believe in God, right? Then why didn't you say anything about Renee Good? All right. You were busy. You were too busy. I gotta pay gas. I gotta pay money. I gotta keep on doing this and doing that. Why didn't you protest? Oh, because you were too comfortable in your silence. See, this is why I barely get any views, because they don't like the truth. They rather listen to a lie than rather the truth. They rather listen to what their friends are telling them than rather what the truth tells them. While we're here, people. Oh, and by the way, Sped Noodles, the reason why you were attacking both Dolly and Slick is because you wanted to judge them based on their color. Right? By your fruits shall ye be judged, and in the same measure that you judge, lest ye be judged. Judge thy neighbor fairly. Right? And Kira, stop acting like some random account when we know it's you. How old is you in the Big 26? Grown-ass women, by the way. Y'all out here causing all these dramas, yapping, yet no legal action. That's what Congress is. That's what MAGA is. They rather bite off more than can chew on their tail than rather actually have a tail. Right? That's what this is. And if you don't like what I'm talking about, you can ship your ass right back to England, because America has never been great for anybody. It's never been. This has never been a great Christian nation. If it was, 348 million Americans plus you and Sped Noodles would have been bowing in front of Jesus Christ right now, because y'all chose to crucify him instead of actually standing up and saying something. Y'all chose to watch Jesus get brutally murdered, brutally mutilated, both on his back and on his belly. Just like how you watched Alex Preddy get shot. Just like how you watched George Floyd get hurt. You've watched it and said not a damn thing. What is the one cause of gun violence in schools, Sped Noodles? What's the cause of gun violence? I'm waiting. What's the cause of violence? Gun violence. What is the... And mind you, there has not been a single person that's ever talked about gun reform. I looked at your page, Sped Noodles. Nothing about Renee Good. Same with Kitty Paquita. Nothing about Renee Good. Oh, but I gotta expose modern Sonic. Oh, I gotta make money off of my YouTube. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. Because that's what you want. You want to make money and not give a damn about Alex Preddy or Renee Good. At least those two were decent people before they died. And you know what Renee Good's last words were? I'm not mad at you. See, a person of faith, let me tell you the difference between a person of faith and someone who's a fake Christian. A person of faith will call out the darkness of this world. It's not just pedophilia in general. It's murderers. It's people who do drugs. People who sin. God is angry with this world because he hates sin. That's why in the Bible it says, I've come not to make peace, but I come with the sword. Those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. And you voted for the sword, not the shield. So, don't start blaming Gia that you were friends, that she's friends with Dolly and Lulu. Blame yourself for wanting to cut cut them ties. Blame yourself for wanting to vote for an adjudicated rapist 3 times. One in 2016, one in 2020, one in 2024. You went to God and said, hey, God, let me have an earthly king, and said no. Yet the 3rd time, he gave you what you asked for because you gave him a headache. And now this is the country y'all got. A country filled with Nazi Germany, brown shirt people known as ICE, deporting and decapitating people at concentration camps. So cut the shit. Oh, Alex Preddy died? Oh, that's not my problem. Of course it's not, because you chose not to care. I never once, even on Kitty Bakita's story, I've never seen a post about her. I mean, a post about Renee Good on Kitty Bakita's story page or on her production channel. Not a single damn thing. Not a single thing. And now y'all are scared in your white privilege and y'all are attacking Dolly and Slick because they're black, right? Because they wanted to be close to Gia as possible, right? That's crazy, right? How ironic that when you are friends with Slick and Luna, that's okay. You don't employ racism. But when Slick and Luna decided to go against you, that's when you start attacking them because they want to be close to Gia, and that's the problem, right? Racism is damn expensive. Over 90% of jobs is taken over by AI. What about the Trail of Tears or the Middle Passage, Sped Noodles or Kira? How many Native Americans died? 1.4 million Native Americans. 1.4. They didn't care. This country will vote for the lesser of 2 evils than rather a qualifying black woman. And over 250 years, not a single person stood up and said a damn thing. What a damn shame. And y'all claim, and Kira, you claim to be Christian when you know you're not. You legit violated Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33, called people the N-word, and says some racist shit, as well as Mark chapter 9, verse 42, which talks about pedophilia, as well as Galatians 6:7. So don't you dare talk about being a Christian when you yourself has never done anything for the Lord. You never did anything. You never went to a protest. You never did anything. You let your actions justify your salvation, not your faith. I'd rather have my faith justify my salvation rather than my actions. Because why? Because the Bible says, for whosoever believes in me will have eternal life. Didn't John chapter 3 verse 16 literally say, for God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life? But you forgot the other part. For God did not send his Son to condemn the world, but to save it. Those who believe in me are not condemned, but those who do not believe in me are condemned already. That's the problem. People chose not to wake up and have their souls be dormant than rather awake. They rather listen to the adjudicated rapist in the White House and be like, oh, yes, praise Jesus, praise God, hallelujah. Than rather actually stand up and actually say something like actual decent human people. You, Kira, and 75 million people are what's wrong with this country. Because y'all rather would start culture wars than rather actually come together and shake hands with one another, as Martin Luther King once said. Oh, by the way, did you know that the Supreme Court tried to abolish the Civil Rights Act? Abolish means to end it, which means racism will stay forever, right? Which means white people will hate black people because without the civil rights movement, white people will continue to say the N-word to black people and they wouldn't give a shit. That's why we're here as a country. Because you, Kira, and 75 million people went to the crossroads, looked at two signs. One that said universal health care, one that said universal child care, one that said taxing the rich people, one that said student loan debt. But you didn't listen to that. You went to the other way. You chose rape. You chose tax fraud. You chose Insurrection Act, which led to the death of 5 officers and 4 of them that committed suicide because of their PTSD. So I don't want to hear shit talk about you're a Christian when you know you're not. When you and Kira and 75,000 people stand before God one day, God is going to ask you, what happened? Where were you when Renee Good was dead? And I dare you to lie through your teeth and say, oh, you know, I did help Renee Good. No, you were out and about making expose videos just to get profit. Schadenfreude. The delight of hurting others even when they're falsely accused. Right? So don't come to me and talk some shit about, oh, well, what about Gia? You were silent. You were silent too. You didn't say anything when Renee Good got shot. So how could you judge Gia? How could you judge Gia for something that she did wrong when you yourself did something wrong? You never said anything about Renee Good. You never went and protested. So don't you dare say shit, talk about some, oh, well, Gia's a pedophile. Once a pedophile, always a pedophile. She doesn't deserve a second chance. Okay, and you were silent when Alex Preddy got shot. So that makes you no better than a fucking pedophile supporter because you voted for Donald J. Trump. You voted for ICE. You voted for ICE to kill fucking pedophiles. And because of that, now you're scared to talk. And because of that, now you're scared to say something. Because it's the truth. Truth hurts, don't it? Truth hurts, don't it, Kira? Huh, Sped Noodles? Y'all were silent because y'all didn't care what will happen, right? Y'all didn't care. Y'all didn't care what will happen if Alex Preddy got shot. I bet you were clapping. I bet you were like, yeah, get this man down, yeah. Because you didn't care that he was decent. You didn't care that he was a nurse. You didn't care that he was trying to help freaking Renee Good. Right? You've allowed it to happen. Just like you allowed Officer Sidnick to take a knee. Mind you, this is the quote from MAGA. If that president is white and he's a rapist, yeah, that's my president. But if an officer takes a knee, oh, he's a son of a bitch because he's black. And that's why you attacked both Dowley and Slick. Because they took the knee and saw the error of their ways. And they saw that they wanted to be friends with Gia again. They wanted to move on and live life the way they wanted to. And yet they attacked. Right? No, and yet you attacked. You both attacked. Because you wanted white proximity. You wanted whiteness. You didn't want the red, white, and blue. You wanted the white. And that's why we're here as a country. So what you going to do? Are you going to actually stand up for business and actually do something that's far more important than, going after Gia, all because she wanted to be friends with Dowley and Slick? Or are you going to sit behind your white privilege and be silent, just like you were silent when Renee Good got shot, just like you were silent when Alex Preddy got shot, just like you were silent when Breonna Johnson got shot, just like you were silent when, 77 million people voted for the adjudicated rapist? Mind you, I'm white, but I also voted for Kamala Harris. I voted for Kamala Harris. Because why? Because I voted for universal health care. I voted for universal child care. I voted for taxing the rich people. I voted for student loan debt. I voted for actually giving a damn. And now you don't want to talk because it's the truth. Now you don't want to say anything because it's the truth. Now you don't want to do live streams because it's the truth. Gia gave a damn about Slick and Luna. Gia gave a damn because she cared. She even said that she will not force them if they cut ties with her. But you, on the other hand, you will rather be a schadenfreude and actually force Dolly and Lulu to block Gia. Because why? Because you want them as puppets. You want them as the content, not the platform. Right? Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the person's job as the platform to grow an audience? Right? Yet what are you growing? Yet what are you doing? You're growing an audience full of puppets, not actual human beings. That's what you want. You want an audience filled with puppets that will rather be schadenfreudes than actually be decent human beings. And it's the truth. And it's irrefutable. Oh, and by the way, anyone, and I said this last live stream, anyone that supports Donald J. Trump or supports Charlie Kirk, you are genuinely and mentally retarded. You deserve the guillotine. And I highly say this, like I genuinely mean that. You deserve the guillotine. Because when has this been a great Christian nation? It hasn't. You're white, and I can tell that you're white. I can tell by who you voted for. Oh, now you want to be silent. Now you don't want to come to my streams because it's the truth and nothing but the truth. You didn't say anything when Renee Good got shot. So how could you say that, oh, that Slick and Luna are pedophile supporters because they're friends with a pedophile, right? So now you're judging them. By your fruits shall you be judged. And in the same measure that you judge, lest you be judged. Judge thy neighbor fairly. You judged Slick and Luna all because they're trying to reconnect with Gia. Right? You judged them. So now, when you go to God on Judgment Day, and when you stand before him, I want you to lie through your teeth and say you didn't judge Slick and Luna. I dare you to lie and say that you didn't judge, saying that, oh, I support Slick and Luna being friends with Gia, when you literally lashed out on both of them because you didn't care, because you wanted proximity to whiteness, right? You wanted schadenfreude, not decency, not morality, right? Cut the shit, cut the act. Same with Kitty Paquita. I remember when she met me, she said that, oh, the solar eclipse were made of science. Okay, then why did Acts 2:20? Why did Paul write Acts 2:20 then? The sun shall be turned into darkness, solar eclipse, as the moon the blood, before the great and notable day of the Lord come. Time to wake up and smell the roses. Y'all voted for the adjudicated rapist. Y'all voted for it. Don't say you didn't, because you did. Because if this really was a great Christian nation, as I said in my last live stream, 340 million Americans would have been bowing in front of Jesus Christ right about now. See, God gave us free will. But what happened during the Holocaust? Was God around? Was Jesus around? No. But suddenly, when Donald Trump came into power, oh, praise Jesus! Jesus finally returned! He came down! No, God sent Donald Trump to expose the moral rot within his church. You, Pharisees. You say that you're Christians, but you're not. If you were, you would have been doing what Jesus would have told you minutes ago. Mind you, if the world hates you, know that it hated me first. That's what Jesus said. Jesus also said that Whoever lives by the sword dies by the sword. You voted for the sword. You voted for Donald Trump, not the shield, aka Kamala Harris. And it's the same people that voted for Donald Trump that will vote for the Antichrist. So what is it going to be, people? Are we going to wake up and actually smell the roses and actually understand why this is not a good country and actually go out and actually do something? Or are we going to sit behind it? Or are y'all going to sit behind in your white privilege and don't give a damn? Because you never gave a damn in the first place. So why give a damn now about Luna and Slick being friends with Gia when you never gave a damn about Alex Preddy getting shot? When you never gave a damn about Renee Good getting shot? When you never gave a damn about Breonna Johnson, a black woman, getting shot? You never gave a damn about shit. That's all there is to it. You never gave a damn about shit. And that's true. So with that being said, keep living in your white privilege. Keep making exposing videos because, Alex Preddy got shot? Oh, not my problem. Oh, let me just make an exposing video of said person instead of actually, talking about the atrocities of Donald J. Trump. Blah, 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 blah. Paul Lance is talking about the atrocities of Roblox. Right? Paul is talking about the atrocities of Donald J. Trump. What are you talking about? Oh, random people that you consider to be pedophiles just because of feelings. Facts doesn't care about your feelings. So how about you stop acting like Tammy Faye Baker with the fake cries and everything, and keep your gold Bible and keep your gold cross to yourself. Don't let it come near me. Because I'd rather be around people that are actual, genuine persons of faith. They'd rather be around those that would judge others instead of looking at themselves. Don't blame the mirror, blame the reflection. Don't blame, mind you, Sped Noodles, Kira, when you go into the mirror, don't blame the mirror. Blame the reflection. Okay? Don't blame the mirror, blame the reflection. Okay? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're here. Kira, you say you're a Christian, but you're not. You're never a Christian, and you never will be a Christian. Because if you was, you would have been bowing in front of Jesus Christ. You would have been go up to God and told him what you did wrong, and you would have told him. But instead, you chose not to care. Just like you didn't care about Renee Good or Alex Preddy or the 75,000 people that died due to gun violence. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Hold on. Sped Noodles, Kira, how you say you expose predators, but yet you couldn't expose a police officer putting a knee to a black person's neck? How you say you a predator catcher, but yet you couldn't make videos about Donald Trump saying all these random shits? Right? How you say you're a predator catcher, yet here you are saying, oh, Alex Preddy got shot? Oh, that doesn't concern me. My concern is about being a YouTuber and getting lots of cash. My concern is about being a YouTuber and getting and exposing people all for profit. For what? For it to be a schadenfreude in the end. Off camera, you pretend to be a hero. On camera, you pretend to be a hero. Off camera, you're no better than what Kira was. Okay? So cut the shit. Grow up. By the way, grown-ass women, mind you, grown-ass women out here in the Big 26 talk about some drama between Dolly and Slick. Grown-ass women, by the way. Roll the fuck up and smell the fucking roses. Have a white day.